Hey everybody, Zach from Expired Article Hunter here. Today we're going to go over the web crawler edition. This is brand new to Expired Article Hunter version 2.0.0.5. And I'm just going to go over the features and kind of give you a tutorial on how to use it properly. So first things first, let's go over some of the pane here, and I'll show you what each setting means. So to start off, URLs crawled is obviously how many URLs the web crawler has gone to. Pages checked. This portion here, there's a certain amount of threads that run for the crawler, and then there's a certain amount of threads that run for the pages checked. So this is just an indication of how many of those sites or URLs have been visited and checked for domain names. And domains to check is obviously how many domains have been found on those pages and need to be checked for their availability status. In the crawler settings here, we have the thread count. This is just how many threads are going to be running for the crawl. For faster machines, you can set it to a maximum of 100. I usually leave it at about 50. Crawl depth, this is going to be an indication of how deep the web crawler is going to go to each individual page. For example, on one page it might find, URLs to other pages, and from there it'll check those pages if you set it to a level of 1, and after that it'll check those pages if you set it at a level 2. Anything it finds on those pages it'll check, and so on and so on. So for a really long crawl, you can set it, as high as you want here. 500 works. That'll crawl for like pretty much an infinite amount of time. Max pages to crawl, if you want to limit your crawl amount to, a certain amount of pages, you can set this to whatever you want. Timeout time, if the crawler reaches a page that, loads kind of slowly, this is the amount of time in seconds that it'll give up after. So if you want to set that lower, it'll be a little bit quicker. RAM limit, so the crawler after a while is going to use up a lot of memory because it's storing information, things like that. It needs to remember what pages it's already visited so it doesn't go to them again. So you can set the crawler to stop at a certain amount of RAM usage, that way the program doesn't crash out on you. Crawl external pages, if you only want to crawl pages on the domain that you enter in the seed URL, you leave that checked there. Okay, so right here we have the crawl exclusions. You can insert any bit of text here, and if during the crawl the URL that the web crawler is about to visit contains that, then it will skip over it. So you can hyper-focus this, or you can just kind of do a broad thing. So if any URL at all contains the word Google, it'll skip it. Facebook. If you want to get more exact, you can obviously enter .net, .com, whatever there. So this is just so you don't get stuck crawling Facebook's pages and, get stuck in a loop on like Wikipedia, just going over stuff. So yeah, handy little feature. Now during the scrape time, or not scrape time, during the crawl time, if a domain is found that is available, you can check one of these here to immediately send it over to the article scraper, or you can send it over to the metrics checker here. And I'll go over some settings for that later and what that does. So next thing you want to do now, once you have your settings set up, you want to get a seed URL, and this is going to be the initial starting point of the crawl. So what I like to do usually for something like this is to find a nice list of sites that's kind of aged. So in Google, we could type in something like best, here we go, construction blogs. That's something I tried earlier. And in the settings or tools here, you can set the results to years ago. So I like to do, like 2010 to 2000 and put something like that in there. So then you can pull up top 50 construction blogs, copy the URL, and paste it into the program to crawl. I already have a URL picked out here just to kind of give you an example. So I'm going to put that in there, and we're going to go ahead and start the crawl. So right off the bat, it's going to start checking domains, usually if there's some on the page. And sometimes it takes a little while for the crawler to get up to speed. So we'll give that a little bit of time here. But already we've found, one domain here, and it's going to tell us the age of the domain. And this is found by just checking. It may not be exact. It's the first time that the Wayback Machine has captured a screenshot of that website, basically. So we can kind of estimate the age here at 4 years. So we're going to let this crawl for a little bit here, and you can see it's already picking up a lot of stuff here. Once it reaches about 1,000, it's really going to start to take off. It just takes some time sometimes, and it's all dependent on the websites as well that you're crawling. The crawler is intelligent, so it knows when to kind of slow down the crawl so that you don't get banned on the website or anything like that. So if it ever slows down a little bit, it's probably because it needs to. But for the most part, it's fairly quick here. Okay, so now we have a good amount of domains here in the metrics section. We're still having our crawl going here. So just for the sake of this example, I'm just going to show you how you can quickly and easily just check the metrics. And this uses an API called DOM Detailer, which is really great. So by all means, buy some credits. It's built into the software now. So as you can see, we can quickly get the page authority, domain authority, majestic links, citation flow, trust flow, and referring domains, and quickly see that for all the domains we just pulled in here. Okay, so now that we've run the checks here, we can go ahead and quickly check the history of the domain, see if it's worth registering. Nothing spammy going on. So what I like to do is basically pull up the wayback URL here and just look through all of its URLs and see if there's anything that stands out to me as being, you know, significantly spammy. So this looks pretty quality, to be honest here. But we can go and we can quickly do view the full history and kind of look through. Now eventually we're going to try to automate the spam checking a little bit so that you don't have to really put much effort into it, but it is always good to do a manual check just to make sure that you're not buying a domain that's going to have, you know, going to give you a penalty in the end or has penalized itself. So, you know, that domain isn't necessarily good metrics wise, but just for the sake of an example, we checked it. So the crawler's still running here. Looks like we're about to hit around 10,000 URLs. All right, so now that we have, you know, metrics checked on these, we can now go and kind of scrape some URLs. Right now I'm going to just say I want to find articles that have to do with running. So we're going to put that in the title filter there, and we're going to go ahead and hunt. So I'm going to quickly grab URLs here. Stop that. That looks like plenty to me. Alright, so we let it run for a little bit. It didn't check too much yet, but we already have some articles coming up here. I went ahead and turned language detection off just to make it a little bit quicker. And as you can see, we already have a bunch of stuff that could be great for our PBN or our money site, whatever we decide to do here. And we can quickly just do a plagiarism check to make sure that it's not used already somewhere out on the web. And this only takes a couple seconds and it'll give us a pretty good idea. So look, it looks like this one's no good. It's been used on all of these websites. You can also do a quick visual plagiarism check just to see if it pulls anything up here. Yeah, see, it's found some stuff there. So we know that article is no good. A lot of times if, you know, a site that has an article that's not good, usually the rest of them are going to be good. So we can do select all from domain and delete those, delete file, that'll remove the articles. We can look through some of the other ones here. Let's see, pronation and injuries, I'm no expert. So this looks like it could be pretty quality as well, so we'll just do the auto plagiarism check here and see if it turns up anything. And it looks like nothing was found, so that's a good indicator. We're going to go ahead and stop this. Wait for that to finish. Okay. And then just to do some double checking here, I like to do some visual plagiarism checking just because sometimes it turns up stuff that the auto one doesn't. So we can search with quotes. What it's doing is just pulling random snippets from the article and searching Google for them to see if it, you know, if anything turns up in these results here, it'll highlight it for us. So it looks to me like this article is going to be clean. You know, if they're running this through a few times and not finding anything, I'm going to go ahead and say that one's good. We can also do a copyscape check on it just to be absolutely certain, but Copyscape's not perfect either. It does miss something sometimes. So combination of all three methods there, you're going to be pretty certain that the article is unique. So yeah, pretty simple to quickly and easily build a PBN like this. Crawled a ton of URLs, found some good domains, checked their metrics, pulled articles. Now you can simply upload the articles directly to the website. So yeah, guys, I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any other questions or comments at all, please feel free to send us an email. Thank you.